There is a saying, the body whispers before it screams. But sometimes the body doesn't whisper at all. It just quietly sets up a traffic jam deep inside you. Today, we are going to explore one of the most fascinating and dramatic traffic jams in the human body, bile duct stones. This is not a dry medical lecture. This is a story about a factory, a storage tank, a narrow highway, and tiny stone vehicles that sometimes behave like rebels. By the end of this video, you'll understand how bile is made, how stones form, how they slip into the bile duct, what symptoms they cause and why, how doctors diagnose them, what complications can be serious, why silent stones in the bile duct are not always safe, and what happens when stones form inside the liver itself. Hi, I'm Gaurav and you're watching Gut Instincts. Let's begin our journey inside the bile highway. Imagine your liver as a bile factory working 24/7 to produce a golden yellow fluid called bile. Bile helps digest fat. It's your body's natural dishwashing liquid. There are many other functions of bile. A much more detailed understanding of bile can be had from our earlier video, What is Bile? Now imagine your gallbladder as a bottle of this concentrated dishwashing liquid, a storage tank that holds and thickens bile until you need it. And the common bile duct, that's the highway that carries bile from the liver factory to the intestine. Whenever you eat something rich in fat and protein, mutton biryani, paneer pakoda or tandoori chicken, the gallbladder squeezes and sends bile down this narrow pipe. Sometimes, bile becomes too thick or too concentrated, especially inside that storage tank, the gallbladder. Hard chemical lumps form, gallstones. A detailed description of the chemistry of stone formation can be found in our older video, Why do gallbladder stones form? The logical basis of stones that form primarily inside the bile duct and the liver are also mostly the same. Now, most stones usually stay peacefully in the gallbladder, like cars parked in a parking lot. But if a stone is small enough, it can escape into the main road, the bile duct, and can get stuck. Now, it's no longer a gallbladder stone. It's a bile duct stone, also called Hepatolithiasis. Think of it like this. Gallbladder stones are parked cars in a parking lot. Bile duct stones are cars suddenly parked in the middle of the main highway. Parking lot stones can be harmless. Highway stones usually are not. Let's understand the simple science behind why a tiny stone in the bile duct can create chaos. When a stone slips into the bile duct, the liver doesn't stop making bile. So because of the continuous inflow, bile starts pushing against the blockage caused by the stone. Pressure builds up, the ducts stretch, nerves fire, and that's your classic pain in the right side of the upper abdomen, sometimes radiating to the back or right shoulder. Severe abdominal pain often triggers vomiting through nerves and chemical signals that activate the brain's vomiting center. The whole system goes into shutdown mode. The stagnant bile leaks into the bloodstream and suddenly the eyes turn yellow. That's jaundice, a classic sign of blocked bile flow. A detailed understanding of jaundice can be gained from our video, What is Jaundice? Think of stagnant bile like the water that sits on roads after a big storm. Stagnant bile invites bacteria. That's how cholangitis begins. Pain, fever, chills and shivering. This is a medical emergency. Now here's a twist. The bile duct and pancreatic duct share the same exit. If a stone blocks that common doorway, pancreatic juice gets trapped. Trapped pancreatic juice, which is actually supposed to digest food, starts digesting the pancreas itself. Think of the pancreas as a country which trains certain armed groups, or here the digestive enzymes meant to cross into a neighboring country and attack civilians. Here attack food. But when the border is totally blocked, the armed groups can't leave the native country, or here the stone blocks the shared exit and pancreatic enzymes can't enter the intestine. Now, they are stuck inside their native country, bored, restless and armed. And when they have no one else to attack, they start attacking their own country. In this context, the digestive enzymes start digesting or damaging the pancreas itself. This chaos, where a friend turns into an enemy, is acute pancreatitis. And once this acute inflammation kicks in, everything swells, the blockage worsens, and symptoms escalate fast. Symptoms include intense upper abdominal pain, often radiating to the back, vomiting, and breathlessness. So, the big idea is simple. Pressure causes pain and vomiting, stagnation causes jaundice and infection, backflow causes pancreatitis. Stones don't cause trouble because they exist. They cause trouble because they block the flow. Imagine you are a traffic cop trying to figure out why a major city road is jammed. You don't start by sending a helicopter. You start first by asking the people stuck in the traffic. Doctors do the same. Step 1. The story, history and physical exam. The first clue comes from you. Is there pain? And when did it begin? Did it come suddenly like a surprise test? Any fever? Any yellowing of the eyes? Has your urine turned the color of Coca-Cola? Is there tenderness under the right ribs, the VIP parking zone of the liver and the gallbladder? This is the medical equivalent of interviewing witnesses at the scene. Step 2. Blood tests. Next, doctors check the biochemical CCTV cameras. Liver function tests. When bile can't flow, enzymes like ALP and GGT and bilirubin rise. Think of them as traffic sensors screaming, blockage ahead. Lipase amylase. If these are high, the pancreas is upset, possibly acute pancreatitis. White blood cell count. If this is elevated, an infection may be brewing. The body has deployed its police force. Step 3. Imaging. Now comes the fun part. The spy tools. Ultrasound. The first, fastest and cheapest, like using Google Maps to check traffic. CT scan. When things look confusing or dangerous, CT gives a broader clarity. MRCP. A beautiful 3D map of the bile ducts. It's like switching from Google Maps to a drone view. EUS or endoscopic ultrasound. A tiny camera with an ultrasound probe inside your stomach. Imagine sending a mini submarine to inspect the underwater pipeline. ERCP. This is not just a camera, this is the traffic controller of the bile highway or maybe ATC of the bile runway. It can see the stone and remove it in the same setting. By this stage, the doctor knows exactly where the stone is hiding and how much trouble it's causing. A stone in the gallbladder is like a lazy tourist. A stone in the bile duct is like a tourist who decides to stand in the middle of an expressway. One tiny stone can trigger a domino effect. First, pancreatitis, the internal fire. The pancreas gets irritated, enzymes get trapped, and the organ starts digesting itself. A complete self-sabotage. The trained armed groups gone rogue. Second, cholangitis, infection in the bile duct. Stagnant bile becomes a 5-star resort for bacteria. Pain, jaundice, fever and chills. This is a medical emergency. Third, long-term liver damage. If the blockage continues, the liver gets scarred. Over time, this can lead to liver cirrhosis. So doctors follow a simple rule. If the stone is in the bile duct, remove it. No negotiation, no compromise. This is one place where let's wait and watch is not wise. If anyone tells you otherwise by recommending some fix to dissolve them or flush them, beware.
Wrong number. Wrong number.
Asymptomatic stones. This is the part where having some perspective comes in handy. Silent gallbladder stones. These are like quiet neighbors who mind their own business. They may never cause trouble. Doctors often just observe them. If they cause issues, we deal with them. To understand this further, you can watch our video to all gallstones need to be treated. Silent bile duct stones. These are like explosive devices in your hallway. They may not hurt today, but they can suddenly cause life-threatening issues like pancreatitis, cholangitis, liver damage. So the rule is quite simple. Silent gallbladder stones we often observe without any treatment. Silent bile duct stones, we usually remove them because the behavior of a silent bile duct stones can be completely random. It's like the Joker of the Dark Knight, The bile duct is the main highway. The liver ducts are the tiny side streets or gullies. And yes, stones can form there too. They usually develop because of four main reasons: repeated infections, changes in how bile is made and or processed, abnormalities in the liver structure, commonly after liver surgery, and slowing or blockage of bile flow. These stones, often called intrahepatic stones, are tricky because they are harder to reach, so difficult to remove. They can cause recurrent infections. They can damage specific liver segments. They are often linked to strictures or bile duct narrowings or old infections. Complications of liver stones: recurrent cholangitis, liver abscess formation, permanent liver damage or scarring of a segment or the entire liver, increased risk of cholangiocarcinoma or bile duct cancer. Think of it like this: blocking of a small lane may seem unimportant, but repeated blockages in a busy business area can choke the entire city's traffic. Similarly, repeated intrahepatic duct stones can harm the whole liver over time. Bile duct stones are common, they are unpredictable, and they can be dangerous. But here's the reassuring part: modern medicine understands them extremely well. The right specialist usually knows when to suspect them, how to detect them early, how to predict and handle complications, how to prevent long-term liver damage, and most importantly, how to treat them safely. And that's exactly what we'll explore in the part 2 of this presentation on bile duct stones. Your bile duct may be a narrow tube, but it's a superstar. It quietly manages the flow of bile, a fluid essential for digestion, detoxification, and maintaining the harmony between the liver, gallbladder, pancreas, and the intestine. When this tiny duct gets blocked, the entire system revolts. The liver gets congested, the pancreas can become inflamed, the intestine gets deprived of bile, and the whole digestive orchestra goes offbeat. But here's the empowering truth: when you understand how the bile highway works, you can protect it. You'll recognize symptoms early, you'll know when not to ignore jaundice, you'll understand why a silent stone isn't always silent, and you'll appreciate why timely treatment prevents lifelong complications. In the next presentation, we'll dive into the fascinating world of ERCP, surgery, lithotripsy, and modern tools that sound like they belong in a sci-fi movie. From clearing blockages to shutting down the stone factory, we'll cover it all. Stay tuned for the part 2 of this presentation. Your bile highway deserves it. Thank you for watching Gut Instincts. Bye.